Hey, what is going on? So, because so many of us are stuck at home trying to find something to do, I see a lot of people posting about pulling their hair out, basically trying to teach their children at home. Because we have our reading class at Dillard and we're unable to do that, as well as a lot of the libraries being closed, what we decided to do is read to you guys online. So, we're going to be reading some of our books as well as others. So, I'm here with Mr. Brandon Freeney, as you can hear there in the back, and we're going to read to you How I Met Howard Latimer, right? And so we want to read this book to you guys. If you would like the book, or like for us to email the book, or would like supplemental worksheets, because we will include those as well, all you have to do is email us at positivitypays365@gmail.com. All of that information will be in the description. But we're going to make sure we continue to read these books to you guys because of CEA, which is Community Education Alliance here in Broward County, as well as New Mount Olive Baptist Church. We've worked with them in doing so many things around education. We wanted to make sure we're going to keep the education coming to you guys. That way it stays fresh while all of our kids are out of school. So without further ado, I'm going to begin reading to you guys How I Met Lewis Howard Latimer. So I'll actually put some of the pages of the book on the screen. That way you guys can follow along with me. Earl sat transfixed, watching his father Malcolm repairing a small lamp for their next-door neighbors. At 8, he was inquisitive and soaked up knowledge like a sponge. "Daddy, did you like fixing things when you were my age?" Earl cocked his head towards the lamp. Malcolm smiled. "Yes. You know, Grandpa showed me how to change a light bulb when I was just about your age. After that, I just fell in love with wanting to know how things worked." Earl pulled a little frown. "Weren't you afraid of getting shot?" "Mom always tells me to not touch outlets and stuff, 'cause I could get a bad shock." "Well, Earl, your mother is right, of course. But Grandpa explained to me the importance of safety first, just like I do with you. He showed me the right and safe way to do it, and also told me how not to do it so I would never get hurt." And so, this is where I'm at here, the first page. Like I said, the pages will be on the screen because I want you guys to follow along with me so that way we can go over vocabulary as well. Malcolm smiled at his son. "You know, he was working on a lamp just like this one at the time, and he told me the most amazing stories about how things like this lamp and bulb came to be." "Oh, Daddy, do you remember the stories? I want to hear them. Tell me, please," Earl implored his father. "I sure do, son. One of my favorite stories is the one about a man named Lewis Howard Latimer." Malcolm put away his tools. Earl's eyes brightened. They went into the living room, plopping down onto the comfy gray couch with the red and black pillow where all the great stories were told. "Okay," Malcolm began. "This is a story about one of the top 10 African American inventors, Lewis Howard Latimer." "You mean like you, Daddy?" Earl beamed. Malcolm laughed. "I don't invent anything, son. I'm just pretty handy at fixing things, that's all. Now listen. Lewis Latimer was the son of escaped slaves." Malcolm started. "Oh no, this isn't one of those awful stories, is it, Daddy?" Earl scrunched into the soft pillows. "No, son. This is a happy story. Good people helped Lewis' parents to remain free. Now Lewis, after serving our country in the Navy, got a job as an office helper in a patent office. It wasn't a great job and only paid $2 a week." Malcolm explained. $2 a week? That's crazy, isn't it? My allowance is more than that." Earl burst out. Malcolm smiled at his son. "Well, Earl, this was all happening about 150 years ago when money went a little further. Still, it wasn't a good salary, but he watched and learned while he was there until he could draft. That means draw, basically. Inventions that were to be patented, which means legally claimed so no one else could use them without your permission. Understand so far?" "I think so, Daddy. Please tell me more." Earl leaned forward a bit. He got so good at it that the patent firm where he worked promoted him and started paying him $20 a week to do drafting. Malcolm jerked a proud nod. Eventually, through hard work and study, he became an expert electrical engineer. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's where it gets really good. Have you learned about Alexander Graham Bell in school yet? Malcolm asked. Isn't he the one who made the telephone? Earl bit his index finger. He didn't want to get it wrong in front of his daddy. That's right, son. But guess who drafted the patent papers for Mr. Bell? Malcolm grinned. Mr. Latimer? Did he do it? Earl asked, excited. Malcolm's grin broadened. Yes, and just in the nick of time, too. Someone else was trying to patent something similar, but Lewis Latimer worked hard and long and got it done before them. So Alexander Graham Bell got the patent on the telephone. Hey, Daddy, that's cool. But what about the light bulb? I thought this story was going to be about that, Earl said. You're right. I just get feeling so proud and excited when I think of Mr. Lewis Latimer's accomplishments. You know, it wasn't easy back in those days for African Americans. And Lewis Latimer was just so smart and actually invented things of his own and got the patents for them. Wait just a minute, son. I've got a book over here. Let me see. Here it is. Important Inventions of the 19th Century. Malcolm flipped through the book. Yes. Look, Earl, I want you to meet Lewis Howard Latimer. His clothes are really strange, Daddy. Stuffy and all buttoned up like that. Is that the thing around his neck some kind of tie? Earl asked with obvious dismay. Malcolm replied, I believe that is called an ascot, Earl. You know, Lewis Latimer had to look his best because he was a respected draftsman and electrical engineer. Okay, let's talk about the light bulb. A man named Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. However, the filament in the center of the light bulb that actually produces light only lasted a few days because of what it was made of. Lewis Latimer invented a way to make the filament last longer, and so he made the light bulb better. Malcolm beamed with pride. Really, Daddy? Then what happened? Did Mr. Latimer get a patent? Earl pulled his feet up under him on the couch, practically bouncing with anticipation. Yes, he did. And then the new design made it possible to put electric lighting in homes and on city streets. Lewis Latimer was asked to oversee the setting up of electrical lights on the streets here and in other countries too. Then he started working for Thomas Edison himself. While he was with Mr. Edison, Lewis Latimer became one of the first of the Edison pioneers and the only African American on the team. These people were all highly intelligent and knew a lot about electricity. In fact, Lewis Latimer wrote a book called Incandescent Electric Lighting, a practical description of the Edison system. That's just a fancy way of saying all about the light bulb, son. Malcolm chuckled. Wow, Daddy, Mr. Latimer did all that? Did he have any kids like me? Earl wanted to know. Malcolm smiled. There are no other children like you, son. But he did have 2 little girls, and man, he was amazing. Not only did he make the light bulb better, even designing the way it screws in today, but he also wrote poetry and plays and played music on his flute. He taught English to people who came to America from other countries too. And he was involved in getting civil rights for African Americans of his time. It just goes to show you that there's nothing you can't do if you just put your mind and heart into it, son. Earl hopped up and hugged his father. Thanks, Daddy. I love that story. I hope you'll tell me more sometime. I sure will, Malcolm promised. But right now, we'd better finish fixing that lamp. So that is how I met Lewis Howard Latimer. Once again, we'll have the vocabulary in the description of this video. And if you would like for us to send you this book, we can actually get you a copy of the book, or we can send it to you via PDF. Just email us at positivitypays365@gmail.com. And once again, this is brought to you by the CEA of Broward, which is Community Education Alliance, and New Mount Olive Baptist Church. Thanks so much, and we'll be coming back to you soon.